We are here with Mr.
Miguel
Fleming and Alwick Elwords. Tell our audience a little bit about yourself, please.
Yes, currently I'm the Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture, Fisheries, Marine Resources and Cooperatives. I left the island to study in Taiwan in 2012 and got back in 2018.
Wow.
Again, my name is Alwick Edwards. I am an Inspector of Police and the officer in charge of the Tactical Department, which includes the Joke Squad, the SSU, and Kenyan Unit. I studied at the Central Police University in Taiwan, Republic of China. I left in 2013 and I got back in 2018 as well. Thank you.
Nice. What skills or knowledge did you learn throughout the program that you did that you found the most useful in your current career?
Well, I'm happy that I actually got the opportunity to work in an area that I actually studied, right? And during my 6 years in Taiwan, we were exposed to a lot of hands-on, practice, lab work and field work as well. So some of these skills I'm able to come back and, pass on to my staff.
Right, such as pineapple production, for example, right? It is something that we're trying to venture into in St. Kitts and Nevis, and the know-how is very important, and I'll be able to pass on that to the people.
I do realize that, before we go to Mr. Edwards, I do realize that you stated earlier that you are happy to come back and work in the field that you studied. Give us an idea of the name of the field that you studied in?
Yes, I studied tropical agriculture.
Oh.
And currently I'm the Acting Permanent Secretary in the Ministry of Agriculture.
Aligned perfectly, doesn't it?
Yes.
All right,
yes.
Mr. Edwards?
Yes, similarly, in PS alluded to, I was a police, went to study policing, and came right back into policing. So, like the PS said, my ducks were aligned as well, and so it was easy for me to come back with the knowledge I gained over the years and impart it to a person who willing to learn, because you just can't teach people who ain't want to learn, you know what I mean?
Right.
And so that's basically it. I did a bachelor's degree in police administration, and a minor in ballistics and fire and repair. I'm a ballistician, and a clock specialist, clocks. But they are very unforgiving, so I went out there to learn as much as I can.
Right.
The society, St. Kitts society. So I went out, I said, you know what, my job is to learn for 5 years, and I'll go out and I'll learn. So I went out and I used that opportunity to grasp everything I can. And yeah, if I could have learned something else, if I could have done a degree in 5 years, I would have done it. I would have done it actually for real, because if I had the opportunity to say, I could do 2 bachelor's degrees, I would have done it. And not necessarily come to learn.
Right.
Yeah.
So failure was not an option, and you really had to maximize your time there, and you make the most of it.
That's right.
That's nice. So, which makes me wonder, you all didn't experience any obstacles? You have any obstacles you want to share with us that you might have experienced and how you overcame those obstacles? Just one for the sake of time.
The language barrier, the obstacle, in itself. Yeah, something sounds like knife and forks falling on the ground. It's an obstacle for people communicating.
Right.
But what I could say, I met P.S. Fleming in Taiwan, and he's an ICDF student. I'm a MOFA student. So he was not forced to learn Chinese. I was forced to learn Chinese.
Oh.
But he learned Chinese regardless.
Right.
So something our communication was Chinese, so it made me stronger by talking Chinese. Then when I finished my year Chinese learning, I went and did a degree in Chinese, because it was my chance to go past person who just know the basic Chinese.
Right.
And that's what happened.
Okay, so your desire to succeed help you overcome the obstacle with the language barrier?
Yeah.
Wonderful.
For me, cultural difference, right? And I think for the first 3 months, if I had the money to come back, I would have. But I'm happy I did not have the money. But just the cultural difference, the food and all these type of things, But after a while, you start to immerse yourself in the culture and just accept things for what it is, and then you start to realize that it's not so difficult. Because I still miss a lot of the Taiwanese cuisine, like the beef noodles,
Yeah,
them type of
man,
things,
yeah.
So
During the winter
it's
time,
just the culture and the food,
beef
but
beef noodles,
yeah,
wow, that we
yeah,
thing.
yeah.
So initially you experienced culture shock.
Yes, oh, big time.
Yeah, man, everybody
Big
experience that
time.
there.
Culture shock was a serious thing, but I can say Taiwan is the second one.
Yeah, that one is a nice place. In my book, Taiwan is heaven and earth.
Really?
Yes,
I have.
you can lose your phone here, forget it here, go around the world and come back.
And
Your
it's right
phone
It's
there?
still
there, phone there.
that is
Nobody
that
trouble in
that
it.
is a fact. You can
Nobody
go
trouble in it.
from one city to another city,
So the
and you'll
perception
come
of
back and get back your
safety
phone.
is strong in Taiwan? The perception of safety being safe. Would you say that
You're
it's
safe in
you're
Taiwan. You're
safe in
safe in Taiwan.
Taiwan?
You'll have some
The occasional
occasional
one-off
one-off
crime,
thing then, but you're
right?
safe. People discipline. Listen, the very escalator you travel up or go down is a rule. Stand the left hand side if you want to pass, you go on the way and walk up.
Correct.
And
They're
so,
disciplined. They're disciplined society, so you don't know if you want to queue, it's gonna be in the left hand side you queue. If you want to pass people, go on the way and say walk up.
Correct.
okay.
Everybody queuing going up the escalator.
Very
Wow.
disciplined.
Very disciplined.
Wow.
Yeah.
Organized also. It
Yeah,
sounds very
man.
The
organized.
dog pull on the road, they take up
Take
the
it up.
feces.
All the sidewalks them tile in Taiwan. Tile.
Makes
Glitter
me
in it.
want to visit. Can I come
Come
and
on.
can I just leave now and go visit?
Ask the ambassador.
Yes.
During this conversation, I'm realizing that your your choice of study has definitely prepared you for your career. So the academics have prepared you for your career. But what about the social impact of Taiwan on your life? How has that prepared you for your career? The entire experience itself, how has that prepared you for your career? Outside of the academia, how has being in Taiwan, your experience of the discipline, the safety, the organization, how has that prepared you for your career?
Like you said, the discipline, right? Being on time, time when easy to tell you 7 o'clock, they're going to start 7 o'clock, right? And how you deal with people, because if you're lost, some of them would actually stop what they're doing and actually try to help you find where you want to go. Sometimes they'll
Yep.
even go with you,
Yep.
right,
Yep.
to ensure you
Yep.
get to where you want to get to,
Yep.
So
right?
nice.
Yeah.
So I mean, it was shocking to see that someone can just give up everything that they're doing just to help you find where you want to go, right? And I think with that, you come back and you also want to, be nice to people as well.
Yeah, so I was able to see the various family compositions, and you know what was most surprising is that I was treated no less than a family when I was at the house. The cook, I was given a room. I had to cow roe. Cow roe is like barbecue chicken. Cow roe. Cow is barbecue. Roe is chicken. So
Right.
you at different occasions we used to do your own barbecue. You put your meat on the fire and you dig and you get your sauce and yeah, and you eat. And in our culture, it is impolite to talk when you're eating.
In our culture?
In our culture, in Sinki's culture, they don't talk and eat in food your mouth. Yeah, but in their culture, you have to talk and eat. They gotta talk Ibi and Shu, Ibi and Jianghua. They say you talk and eat. So they ask that kind of question. So you learn at the table you can't talk, you're eating.
Right,
So you
right.
got to talk, so you're forced to talk. So you're learning Chinese, so you're listening and you're talking, and so the experience made me care more for people and don't treat people differently based on the color. You know what I mean? Yeah.
So in your working space, it makes you more tolerable of those who are different.
Different, right? Correct.
And as an officer, you come across individuals who can be, for want of a better expression, rambunctious. are disrespectful, how has that assisted you? Your experience assisted you in dealing with such individuals?
Well, I'm a professional, and so I treat everybody how I wish everybody treat my family. So, because he's my cousin, I won't want nobody to do him the shipping. So I don't
Right.
treat nobody that way. Yeah, 'cause I love family. Family come first for me.
So yeah, you
Yeah.
live by the principle, do unto others
I
as you
have
would
them.
have them do unto
Yeah.
you. All right, we're winding down. We're now going to focus on your life as a student in Taiwan. As it relates to housing, did you reside on campus or enjoyed alternative housing arrangements? I know Mr. Edwards would have said he had to go on Sunday to the training school and stay there until Friday. So, and then Friday you go back home. When you
Sunday, you go.
So I go back up to school.
and then Sunday you go back up to school. So Friday you had the weekend out of
Yeah.
the school. Where were you staying during that
That's
time?
a very good question. That's a very good question. I had my own apartment outside. From time to time, ever so often, niggas used to come south, well, come north to look for me, and we used to play video game for a whole weekend. I used to meet him up. We play PS football, you know, soccer, FIFA. And so, yeah, I had an apartment outside. 'Cause you had to leave the school, eh? You had to leave the school.
You had to leave the police
You had to
training
leave the police,
school.
yeah, you had to
So before we move on to Mr. Fleming, when you, what was it like getting an apartment? Was it difficult?
leave. No.
What were required
You just
for
go
you?
online, the apartments available and see suit your pocket. Then you would have to stay up the fan down. Fan down is the landlord, and you just pay whatever money is need to be paid, and you just move into the apartment.
I'm going to save this question until Mr. Fleming answers, just in case he will answer that question.
Yeah, okay.
What about you, Mr. Fleming? You stayed in the dorms or?
Yes, I lived on campus for a number of years, and then I moved outside. Right, we usually say move outside, right? So then I rented an apartment for a number of years as well. It was quite easy. And I live in the south, so that's rural area basically. So it's much cheaper compared to living in the north, right? So, but it was very easy to find dormitories, right? I mean, but they also call funny enough that they call the apartments on the outside dormitories as well, right? So because it's kind of set up, like it's kind of similar, but you have your own room and everything and stuff. But it was quite easy, and just like down Ross University where everybody tried to invest around the university, it's the same setup out there. So it was just walking distance basically.
Okay. What do you think of the dorms though? You said you lived there for a number of years. So what do you think of the dorms and the campus you studied on?
Yes, for me it was good, but 4 persons in one room.
Four?
Right? 4 persons in one room, you have your own space.
Same gender?
Same gender,
Yeah.
yes, same gender. And you're not allowed to bring in any females in the dorm, and the females are not allowed to bring in any females as well. You can get in serious trouble for that.
Right.
Right, and so it was a shared thing, and a lot of different showers and stuff, shared washing machine and dryer and kitchen. And after a while you get kind of tired of that. And then you want to, advance to something different.
So what
My
what if I'm thinking of going to Taiwan to study and I don't want to stay in the dorms at all? What advice would you give me as it relates to getting an alternative housing arrangement? What is the process? Just explain the short process for me after the advice. What do I have to have?
Well, you lived outside, but for me, I always advise people to, and if you're new and you don't have a good support system, to first live on campus, because everything is there, the safety, and you go and come, and usually on campus you don't even have to go outside. You can buy almost everything that you want in campus, right? So I usually advise persons first, to learn the ropes first. And stay on campus for probably a year and a half before they go outside. But some persons don't have a choice. They have to find an apartment right away, right? And we have a student association basically, and a group as well. So they usually assist you even before you get to Taiwan in finding your apartment, right? I'm not sure if you had that privilege when you were there at the time, but I know now we have that set up.
Well, if you go for college training, you have to stay inside. You can't stay outside.
In the alternative housing, not the
Oh,
dorms.
well, you go online, you check what facilities you like to live in, and you just apply. If you need any assistance, I was there first, and then I could assist in any way. But it's easy as 1 to 3. Everything in Taiwan is easy. It's very, very easy. You just gotta be disciplined and just know that you come there for a purpose and you just do your thing. You know. In addition, once in a while you meet up with the other kitchen around and just have a good time, and you know you come here for business. And that's what my motto. I come here for business. I come here to do my thing, and I go home at the top of everything. Yeah.
All right. I know you mentioned that during your downtime, one particular extracurricular activity you engaged in was judo. And Mr. Fleming, you have already explained judo to us, but Mr. Fleming, did you participate in any extracurricular activities?
No, just football.
Football?
I used to coach the university soccer team, and I played as well.
I played against him a couple of times for school.
So different schools, yeah.
Yeah, I played against him.
Okay. Why football?
Because I love football. And I started before I went to Taiwan. I used to actually referee and those type of things and coach in the football association. And I just continued along that path.
I don't know if you explain why you chose judo, but remind us if you did before. Why you chose judo?
I actually didn't say why I chose judo.
Okay, so tell us now.
Because I did police administration, the art, the martial art associated with that, discipline, like a lot of terminology, was judo. They had other disciplines, they have other choices. Like, for example, the fire officers in my school did Shui Jiao. It's like a Chinese Kung Fu. So different courses. The police did judo, and the other officers did Shui Jiao. You could have also done boxing as an extracurricular activity as well, but it's like football. Okay, he did football. I could have done football as well. So sometimes, because I play football in St. Kitts, I used to go there and do judo. I said, I'm going to judo tonight. I got football, and I got football in the night. You had so many things to do. You know what I mean? You could have options. So it's just music, waltz, and so. I don't know, waltz class.
Waltz, as in the dance waltz? Oh, okay.
Yeah. And hands in everything. Fencing.
Okay. So it depends on what you
really want to do.
Okay.
What you want to do. I used to go kickbox. Kickbox. I tell you, they taught me how to use your shin bone to strike. Rather than your instep. How to punch. They taught you these hurt them. These hurt you. So when you punch, you make sure these land. Not these two. These don't break.
Finishing off student life, or your school life, as a student there, I know you mentioned that the ambassador was there to assist and organize certain activities and get together. What sort of student support services are available for those who are already in Taiwan studying?
In terms of support, as it relates to Taiwan, the Taiwan ICDF specifically, because that's a scholarship that I got, right? You have project managers, and they are responsible for ensuring that your time at the university is smooth, right? They assist you with everything, any problem that you have. So I had a really, no major hiccups, right? And so they provided that support. They assisted you with getting your ARC, your alien residence card.
Oh.
When you have to renew it and all those different type of things to take you to the studio to get your photos taken, so it was really a smooth process. And we have the student association in Taiwan who can assist you as well if you have any problems outside of the school.
There's a point person in Taiwan?
I think there is, but I can't say for sure who the person is.
Okay, well,
I'm not sure who the person is.
All right. I know you mentioned earlier that you had ICDF scholarship and you got the
more
MOFA.
for her.
Can you give our viewers a brief insight into the particulars of the scholarship that you received?
Well, more for you have to learn the language for a year. And so you're forced to learn language for a year. Really more for. More for really means the Ministry of Foreign Affairs. And then you went to school afterwards. But that's basically the difference between both. The basically difference between one you have to learn you have to learn the language. The other one you do not have to learn the language. There's some person though will will receive a more for scholarship and still after they finish doing the year do a degree in English. But more for is really geared you to do your degree in Chinese. Yeah.
So with MOFA as well, you're responsible for paying your tuition. Like you're on
You're
your
right,
own.
you're on your own,
basically.
you're on your own. That's
You're
true,
on
that's true.
your own. With
That's true.
ICDF, you just go to the bank, you put in your ATM card and you withdraw your money that you have to take care of
Yeah.
it. Right? But for I had no responsibility as it relates to paying for my tuition and all those type of things. But for MOFA students, they have to do that.
Hey,
And
yeah,
in
they
paying
say.
for the tuition, I know hearing paying for tuition would cause some persons' eyes to eyebrow to raise or their ears to tingle. Isn't this a full scholarship?
It is.
Why do I
It
have
is.
to pay for tuition?
But the
So for-
monies that they give you covers that.
Oh, so
Yeah,
the
yeah, yeah.
stipend that they give
Yeah.
you would be used for.
For covering the tuition and to look after yourself, even to find an apartment and to live.
You see, I was more for, but then I went to poly school, and so in poly school, everything was taken care for me. I just had to go classes and get books, English and Chinese, and so, and my books are dual language. So the first half of the book will be Chinese and the second half will be English. So I could have compared the different words and say, oh, okay, that means that. Okay, cool. Yeah. So it was, and then the first of every month is payday. And so the remainder is mine. It's like 1,500 EC is mine. And you do what you want with that. I pay my bill, my apartment, and the rest is mine.
So with the ICDF, you didn't have. It wasn't mandatory that you learn the language.
No. No, as for ICDF, the schools that you apply for, English schools.
International
with
schools.
English programs. Yeah.
International schools.
Okay, wonderful. Now, what advice would you give someone who is interested in applying for a Taiwanese scholarship if the person wants to apply for either MRFA or ICDF? I think I would like you to be the advocate for your particular scholarship right now and advise me, for example, if I want. Why would you tell me apply for MOFA? Why would you tell me apply for ICDF?
I also apply for ICDF because it's smooth sailing. You know, they basically hold your hand throughout the entire process. They ensure that you especially that you complete your degree as well, and they encourage you, motivate you. And for example, for especially persons who are doing masters and PhD, right? Usually when you study masters and PhD programs, you can go over 2 years, right, for your masters, and your professor might have it for 3 years. But the scholarship is only for 2 years for masters and 3 years for PhD. So that's the benefit of doing your masters
In
and
ICDF.
PhD with ICDF, because then your project managers will be telling your professors, well, they have to leave in 3 years because the scholarship does not support you beyond that, right? And most students would not want to stay beyond
The 3
the
years.
3 years and
Right.
the 2 years, right? So I think that every student who is thinking about going to Taiwan, if they should first look at ICDF to see if their program of interest is in English. And if that's the case, choose
ICDF.
Taiwan ICDF.
All right.
Okay, and if I have to encourage person to choose more for, I'll start by telling them that the Asians are migrate in this direction to the Caribbean. And so you wouldn't want nobody to be talking ill about you and you don't understand what they're saying. So learning the language will be an asset if you go to study and come back so you could be able to communicate. Every day, once I get up, God give me the strength to wake up, I speak Chinese. Kevin, Chinese man, will talk Chinese to me. Something he can call me and tell me, and his conversation is always in Chinese. So, if I have to encourage person to go to university, I will encourage them to choose MOFA as the scholarship, because they are coming this direction, they are migrating, and the likelihood of you meeting a Chinese person in the world is they're the biggest population. Anywhere in the world, you're likely to meet up somebody who speaks Chinese. So you'll be okay.
So MOFA prepares you for the global world effectively.
And there's a thing in Chinese, we call it, we say, Ji Tong Ya Jiang. Ji Tong Ya Jiang.
Ji Tong Ya Jiang?
Ji Tong Ya Jiang.
Ji Tong Ya Jiang.
It means duck talking to chicken.
What?
Duck talking with chicken. It only means that they don't understand what each other is saying.
Right.
They don't as ting-ba-dong. In Chinese we say ting-ba-dong. You don't understand. So if you're able to talk two languages equally well, then your English and Chinese, you're likely to be able to talk to anybody in the world eventually. Because person will know one of the two.
So MOFA is more for persons who wants to be bilingual.
Bilingual, right.
Okay.
Yeah, so I encourage person, man, if you want to, just come, go Taiwan, come back, and you want to live in a big country, and move for.
It's been a pleasure talking with you guys here. And before we close off this conversation, what do you know now that you wish you knew during your time at school?
That's a very good question. That's a very good question. What do I know now that I wish I knew during my time in school? What opportunities? For me, I studied agriculture. I wish I knew the agricultural landscape before I came back.
You mean here in St. Kitts?
Yes, in St. Kitts. Because it kind of helps to guide you in terms of what exactly you should focus on. And also, in relation to business, what can you invest in, right? Because while some persons were, traveling all over the world, I saved my money and I bought a hydroponic system that I was able to come back and start my own business, right? So that was important for me. But, I still felt like I got the sharp end of the stick, because if I, right now, what I know, right? If I knew that during my time in school, I think I would have been better prepared, and I would have been further, much further.
Yeah. What about you, Mr. Edwards?
I don't think because before my going to school, I was a 13, 14-year veteran already in the force. I was already a sergeant of police.
Oh, okay.
In fact, I got promoted to inspector just to go to university, because I went to officer school.
Yes.
Went to officer school. And so, my going to school only prepared me for being a gazetted officer. Because you learn how to hold glasses a certain way for different function. You learn how to sit a certain way for different function. You learn how to drinking white wine, hold the glass, so drinking white wine, hold the glasses. Right? You learn how to greet persons. You say good evening when you go to a cocktail. You say good evening, which means that when you leave, you say good night. Good evening is a greet, and good night is I won't see you again for the balance of the night.
Oh.
Good evening also means that I won't see you again during the night. Say good evening.
Right.
And then you say when you're leaving and you wouldn't see the person again, you say good night.
Okay.
So you know, because it's all about etiquette. Officer school. Right. So yeah, so and if I don't know, but
well,
I don't know what to say.
We would like to thank you both for your time. We know that you are busy, Mr. Permanent Secretary and Mr. Inspector. We know that you are busy, and we would like to thank you. To all those of you who are interested in advancing your academic career. It is with pleasure that I inform you that applications for both MOFA and ICDF are already available, open, and you can complete your applications and send them in to the Ministry of Education by March 31st or before March 31st. Once again, thank you for joining Conversations with EMU. God bless you.